Guys, as the athletes get ready for 277, you can also get yourself a big win over at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. This Saturday, new customers can bet $5 on any fighter to win and get $100 in free bets, win or lose. Want even more action? You can also double your winnings on the same game parlay. DraftKings is the only sportsbook that offers same game parlays on UFC events. Combine multiple bets, like which fighter will win, how long the fight will last, and more. Just place your UFC 277 same game parlay, and if it hits, you're going to win double. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code Sonnen. Bet $5 on any UFC 277 fighter to win and get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's code Sonnen. This Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. So you guys will remember about 5 weeks ago, I get asked a big question. Now, this was on Thursday. You got to have the timeline right. If you want to think Chael turned out to be Nostradamus, so you have to have the timeline right, which was Thursday. I'm asked for a prediction between Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje. This is Thursday, and I say on Thursday to all of you, I don't think Charles is going to make weight. That was my prediction. On Friday, when he missed weight, I was already boned up. Now, I will admit this was a gut instinct, but I really did feel it. And I said it. And in addition to that, I went and got boned up on Arizona's rules as to what they would do if I turned out to be right. So top of the hour, boom, I'm the guy everybody's turning to. I know what the rules were. I know what the statutes were. I had everything for weight loss. Still got it memorized. And you might recall in November of last year, when the Chael curse was in full effect, but I took a young lady named Juliana Pena to pull the second biggest upset in women's history, the third biggest upset in the sports history, a top 10 in sport, likely, not just this sport, take out Amanda. And I'm being asked right here and right now who I think is going to win this fight. And guys, I'm not positive we have one. Things are getting very weird. And things are getting weirder with each interview that I come across. Amanda talked about, and don't forget, guys, as great and dominant and effective as Amanda is, Amanda lost her last fight. Amanda's the greatest female fighter of all time. Do we all agree? Because you want to know who else has made that statement? Juliana Pena. Juliana says, I'm going to be a beat her once, I'm going to beat her again. Oh, by the way, she's the greatest ever. It's true. So I always feel like Amanda's fair game. I always feel like we can come out and be real critical, but you really got to look for those critiques. You got to really look for them. Because this is a career unlike any other. But Amanda Nunes is not afraid to pull out of a fist fight. She is not afraid to leave everybody holding the bag and not make that walk, no matter how anticipated her match is. And I can't cite for these off the top of my head. I believe that she's done it twice. If I'm missing one, she's done it 3 times. But these were big matches. One of them was a main event. And she called in on very late notice. And the more that I'm reading these interviews, something is amiss. It's the best I can say. Now, there's a fine line between genius and insanity. Amanda Nunes is clearly a genius in her craft. So the way her mind is going to work isn't something that we're all going to be able to relate to. But she had set an interview down where she talked about a desire to pull out her first fight with Juliana. Said that she had already delayed the fight due to COVID, didn't want to do it again. Her wife, Nina, says, hey, we don't need to do this if you're not fully ready. Amanda said, no, the show must go on, and I'm going to go out there and do it. Now, I agree with Amanda. But I also don't believe that this sport is about who's better than who, or who's tougher than who, or who worked harder than who. I think it's about who versus who on a specific time and date at a specific agreed upon weight class under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. That's what I think it is. I see guys that are hurt that keep their ranking. I don't agree with that. It's very cold the way I'm saying it. But if a guy openly tells you, I'm not good enough or tough enough to even walk out there and try, we should listen. That's what I think. We will have guys that are walking around on crutches that are ranked number 3 in the world. I don't know how that works. I'm confused by that. So I only share with you, nobody feels good. And definitely nobody feels great. This is silly. How? How would you possibly do that? You know what we do in the practice room how are you going to feel good? So Amanda's talking about that she had pulled out of this fight. She was telling a story. And I was trying to figure out why. Why is she telling this story? Why is she reminding us? You know the people that drive around, they got the Hillary or they got the Dole bumper sticker. Why would you advertise a loss? Why would you advertise it after the fact? Why would you advertise it after everybody forgot? Pull the goddamn thing off your bumper sticker. Vote in the next election. You came up short, right? I mean, it's just one of those things. What story? What is she telling us this for? And she talked about that one of her problems for the last fight with Juliana, the first fight, was her conditioning, but she said it's because her knees hurt. Her knees hurt, and I think it was she couldn't run. But it was something along these lines. Now, that makes me very uneasy if I'm Team Amanda. There was nothing within the preparation. And this isn't a debate, right? Everybody's got a number. Amanda Nunes does great work and is fantastic shape at 145 pounds, just on basic logic. If she can get down and make this at 135, she's worked even harder, right? It's calories in versus calories out. Just on basic logic, we know that she's in very good shape. But another thing is the knees. I mean, knees are a very funny thing. We can talk to Dr. Abbasi about this, but your knees aren't just bad last November and all of a sudden your knees are better in July. It just doesn't work that way. And running can be a very helpful way to fill up your gas tank. There's no doubt about that. You sure as hell don't need it unless you think you do. If you think I have not gone through a camp, I have not suffered, I have not prepared because I didn't get my runs in or my stairs in or my sprints in, you're right. And I would just ask that question, well, what is different now? How is that knee any better now? And I don't really need an answer to that. That wouldn't change my opinion of how this contest is going to go. I would just like to hear it to get a better glimpse into the psychology. Anybody who has a problem, guys, doesn't matter if it's a gambler or it's a drunk, you're not going to help them until they admit what the problem is. It is literally step one. Literally, that is the first step. Amanda found herself in a fight that was harder than she thought it was going to be. And it cracked her mentally. And there is nothing in combat that will make you change your goals and hit rewind faster than that. Nothing. Doesn't matter if it's wrestling, judo, boxing, any way that you want to do it. Mixed martial arts. If that contest turns out to be harder than you thought it was going to be, your goals will start to change quickly. Your goals of stopping this opponent turn into beating this opponent, turn in to get through this round, turn into the first thing that's going to look halfway legitimate for the cameras that are filming this. I'm out of here. And I only bring that to your attention because it's extremely rare that somebody can flip the script when they break. If it's a battle of skill, we see them go back and forth. If you've ever followed the NBA, which goes to a best of 7, you got a team winning on Monday, playing the same team for the same time under the same rules, losing to them on Wednesday. Well, if you're talking about a game of strategy, if you're talking about a game of technique, eventually time runs out, you look to the scoreboard. That's very different than if one person breaks. It's very, very different. And there's not very many times throughout the history of you following the sport, you're going to be able to give me an example of somebody that broke and came back. Conor McGregor did. Conor McGregor broke against Nate Diaz. And it was a very similar fight. You got UFC Fight Pass. You want to just have some fun, see what I'm talking about. Go watch Conor versus Diaz Part 1. Go watch Juliana versus Amanda. It's the same fight for the same reasons. The same big shots that Conor was landing on Nate, and Nate's walking forward as opposed to falling down. It's the same shots that Amanda threw and landed, only with the other hand, the right hand instead of the left. Win the first round, get to that 7.5 minutes to the second round. Your goals have changed, and you are on the first thing smoking, headed for the showers, as soon as this is going to look good for the cameras. Halfway acceptable. Conor talked about it. Conor was very open. He said, I mismanaged my energy. Now, that's a fancy way of saying I got tired and I quit. But he still acknowledged it. And that is the number one reason he was able to change it in the second fight. He did not throw those same power shots at Nate. He hit him a lot. He threw a lot of shots, but he made sure he had his battery full. He did not think he was going to get him out of there in the first 5 minutes and then get frustrated when he didn't. He was prepared to go all 25. If you look for the knockout, you will not win the decision. And it's just one of those very interesting things that history says Juliana wins, not Chael. History says if a younger fighter stops an older fighter and they rematch, the younger fighter will do it again, only quicker. We're splitting hairs here. It's 2 years. I do not believe that Juliana, who I picked the first time and I'm picking this time, I do not believe Juliana is as good of a fighter as Amanda. I do not believe that she's as skilled. I do not believe she's the more likely of the two to go into a single discipline, whether it was Abu Dhabi, whether it was kickboxing, whether it was over to the boxing world, and have the same success. I think Amanda would do it any way that you want to slice it. But Juliana has an understanding of what she needs to do. There is intangibles. There is a way to beat people better than you. Sure there is. Don't feel the pressure. Somebody's going to feel pressure. Every fight's got pressure. Refuse to feel it. Stick it up their ass. If you've got an ability to do that, to look at yourself as a contender, to see the odds makers that have you as an 8-1 dog. In this case, it's only a 2.5-1 dog. But either way, look at that and realize they just took the pressure off you. If you understand a storm is coming and I'm going to have to weather it, that is the exact opposite mindset of I'm going to bring the storm and nobody's going to be left standing. Oh my God, they are. What do I do now? It's very different. Juliana seems to have the same approach. I don't know what's going to happen in the fight, but neither do you guys. We got to hedge this based on what we see leading into the fight. But Juliana does still appear to believe that she's the contender. She hasn't won you guys over. 2.5-1 odds represent that. The fact that we all recognize Amanda as the all-around better fighter. These are things that has Juliana in a very similar mindset, and it was the mind that won that fight. And I'm not positive in the things I'm hearing with Amanda that she's come to terms with what had happened. It wasn't about running. It wasn't about the knee. It wasn't about conditioning. It was about hitting a girl with the same shots that every other girl fell down against, and this one doesn't. The fight should be over. Oh my God, there's 20 minutes left. What do I do? Very real thing. Very common thing. And it's a very correctable thing. You can see Conor McGregor as an example. But only if you acknowledge it.